Right, let me introduce what we are going to learn here in A-level ICT syllabus. First is like, so you are going to learn about the basics. So I hope telling everything in English will be okay, right? So if you have any difficulty, you can ask it, like can ask the questions. So
Okay,
I prefer to do this in English because it's the English medium class, right? Okay.
okay, sir.
Right. The concepts of ICT that we are going to learn, it is like 28 period thing, but in the examination, though there will be only few questions, like you will be given around 5 marks. So 5 to maximum 5 to 10 marks for this section. Then the introduction to computer system, we are going to learn about that, and the data representation part. Even though there are 18 periods for data representation, still you will get some questions from that area, specifically from that area, some binary related or the arithmetic, binary, hexadecimal, octal, number system related questions you'll be getting from that. Okay, under the first lesson, so we are going to learn about data and basically data and then their behaviors, data information, also the golden rule of information, information. So how information is like with the time, how the value of the information is changing. So we are going to learn about that. And also we are going to learn about the ICT, the usages of ICT, and also methods that is related to ICT, the data collection. So how data processed in the computer system, you're going to learn about that, and abstract model of information. Then classification of hardware system, and also about the different tools in data gathering, data validation, and so those things. Usages of ICT in different areas, IPR, copyright, plagiarism related things, and we are going to learn about those things in this chapter. So I prefer to do this using the syllabus and so without using notes. But if you really need the note, I can give the tude. But I hope that the important facts you can write down. So I don't know whether, so that is my method, right? That is my method. The important facts you can write down. But rather than filling notes and rather than keeping notes, I think better you understand the lesson carefully, and that will help you in the examination, as well as that will help you in your future goals, because ICT is not just for the exam. ICT for exam as well as ICT is there for the life. So you need that for your future career, right? That's the okay. Actually, this I have prepared for some. I have prepared for some other syllabus for fundamentals of ICT, the basic lesson. But still, this is relevant to A-level ICT, so I'm taking this because, like, I need to find the first tube related to A-level ICT. I'll send it to you. So there's a hard copy, but I need to find a soft copy and send it to you. Right. So let's move to the world of ICT. And first of all, you need to know about two terms, that is data and information. Data and information. So it is very, very important, because ICT, basically, there are three things under ICT, that is information, communication, and technology. Information, communication, and technology. Information is basically processed data or meaningful data. So right, if these points are important, you can just point it out, or I'll anyway send you the PDF, right? Information is basically to process data or meaningful data. Let me give an example. If I tell something like this, there was a example, you can say, there was a picketing in front of White House. Just a picketing in front of White House. You know, White House is a place, right? White House is a place. So that is in America, right? So this is basically giving some idea. So what has happened? there was a picketing in front of White House. What has happened, right? You can get an idea, right? You can see the properties of information. It is meaningful. You can get an idea. It is valuable. You can make decisions based on that. Okay, so when was the picketing? Was it yesterday? So you can just find more about that. It is basically action motivator. Action motivator means you will think, so I need to search this, I need to Google this. What was the picketing in front of White House? I need to Google this. That is a motivational factor, action motivator. And it helps you to take decision making. So not even Sri Lanka, even the America is facing troubles. You can make decisions. You can compare. It is organized. It is organized means there is a meaning. So what is there? What was there? It's a picketing, and where it was, it's in front of the White House, and then likewise when, where, how, what. So likewise, it is organized, and you can get facts from that. So here I have given an example: red data book. I think you heard of red data book in science. So what is it? Red data book. Have you heard about this red data book, Ratu Dattapotha, red data book? It is basically, am I audible? So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So the red data book is actually, it's a book contain details about endangered vulnerable species, right? So endangered and vulnerable species in the world. So it has data about those things. So some endangered animals, endangered plants. Sorry?
So can you explain that part again, because your voice is very low?
Is it? Oh, can you hear me now? Oh, hello, can you hear me now? Oh, can't. I think there is a problem. Just give me a minute. Right. The red data book is a book where you have information about endangered species, endangered or vulnerable species. So that is basically a book. It is a collection of records, information, right? Using that red data book, you can take decisions. Okay, this species is so important to world because it is endangered, it is vulnerable, right? Likewise, you can take decisions about plants and animals. So that is example for information. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then this part, there was a picketing in front of White House. That is also information. It is always meaningful, valuable, useful in decision making. You can take a decision. What can I do? Okay. So do I need to sell? It is action motivate. It's motivate. Okay. So let's say there was a fire in front of president's house. So there was a fire in front of president's house. Then you will Google it. At least you will try to watch news to see what has happened. That is action motivate. And it has a time value. That is very, very important. The time value. So let's say there was a picketing in front of White House. Somebody is telling. So you ask when? Last year. Is it really valuable? Right? If it happened in the last year, is it really valuable?
No.
Not much, right? So it's valuable, but not much. Okay, so somebody's telling, okay, there's a fire in front of president's house. You ask when? Now, just now, it's happening. You can watch the TV. Now, it has a
Yes.
time value, right? It has a time value. You will motivate and you will go in front of the TV and try to watch that. So, okay, the same thing. There was a fire in front of president's house. When? It was 3 years ago. So it's not that much valuable, right? It's not that much valuable. That is the nature of information. It has a time value. The value, initial value or the value at the creation time is high, but after some time, the value will diminish. Diminish. It will go down. The value will go down. That is the nature of information. And in the other hand, data. Data is basically raw facts about something, someone, or some concept. Example, white. What is white? White.
White means a color.
Yes, white, you can think it's a color. Okay. I'm telling White House. White House is a building. It's not a color. Then I'm telling Duncan White. Duncan White is the person who won a medal in Olympic. Right? So he's Duncan White, it's in Sri Lanka. So that is a person. So white itself carry the meaning of color. White is about a color. But actually, it can be anything. It can be Duncan White. It can be White House. It can be whitewash. Whitewash. Complete lose of the game. And it can be white people. Actually, they are not white. The white people are not white, right? So they are light. They are bright. Sometimes their skin color is lighter. So that is why we call white people, but they are not actually white. So you know that. Okay, so anyway, white, the meaning is a bit ambiguous. It's not carrying a proper meaning, right? It is less meaningful. You cannot say it's not meaningful, but it is less meaningful. So it is less valuable. So value of white in 2008, value of white in 2022, which is more valuable? Value of white color in 2008 and value of white color in 2022. 2022, which is more valuable?
In 2022.
Are you sure? White color. I'm just telling about white color. Is it more valuable or is it just same value? What do you think? It's same value, right?
Yes.
It's not that much of significant. So if somebody say, if your mother say white, maybe 10 years ago, you are telling white now, but it doesn't make sense. No change of value at all. So even so can be same value, right? So that is the thing. So value is not changing over the time, right? Value is consistent or not changing over the time. And it is not motivating you. If somebody said, hey, white, it's not motivating you. It's so you ask what white? Are you telling about my skin color? Are you telling about something else? So white, what is that? So not useful in decision making, right? Not much useful. It is uncategorized. So example, a color, height, width, length, some number is uncategorized. Right? Those are called data. So we are going to learn about ICT. So first of all, we need to know about the clear difference. We need to know the clear difference between data and information. I hope you got it now. Any questions up to now?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Then the golden rule of information, as I said, that is this. This was asked in the examination sometimes. Information has the highest value at its creation time, and with the time, the value will be diminishing to zero. The information has highest value at the creation time, and with the time, it's diminishing to zero. It's gradually going down with the time, right? It has highest value at the creation time. With the time, it's going down. So we understood that, right? Fire in front of president's house today, today morning, now, it has high value. But fire in front of president's house after 10 years, I mean, no significant value. So anyway, for this reason, since data has no value, what we will do, we will process and create information. So that is called abstract model of information. Very simple, right? Abstract model of information is what will happen to data. Data will be processed and information is created. Data are the raw facts or the basic things that, so you know, so if you don't mind, may I know your religion? If you don't mind, so that is not too like, that is not good. Yes?
Catholic.
Catholic, okay. So, then Jesus Christ, right? So then what he has done actually? Did he find anything new or existing things? What do you think? Okay, think about that. So think wisely, right? Did he introduce anything new or something existed? Or just think about, okay, just think about Newton. So, so this scenario, right? Apple for that is actually gravity. So the concept of gravity. So who introduced the concept of gravity? Yes, it is Isaac Newton, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right. So he introduced the concept of Isaac Newton introduced the concept of gravity. So do you think it is a new thing or was it an existing thing? The gravity was new thing or existing thing?
It's the existing thing.
It was existing, right? Only thing is Einstein said, sorry, Isaac Newton said that. He said the apple was fallen down. The reason is gravity. So that is a concept, conceptually new. But the thing was, it was happened before also. Didn't apple fall before Isaac Newton? There was apple even before Isaac Newton. Those apples, like it was falling down. Those apple, actually, those fruits, generally fruits, they fall down from trees when the time comes. So that is not because Isaac Newton. He's not the first fellow experienced this. Others also experienced, but no one has explained. No one tried to explain that using that theory. So similar to that, Lord Buddha, Jesus Christ, Nabi. So all has done same thing. All these people, they have done same thing. What they have done? The existing thing, they explain in innovative way, innovative approach. So the approach, if people believe their approach, they have followed. So the followers, Catholics basically, Buddhists, Muslims, they are followers. They are just followers. But if you think about where was the beginning, you think that is your religious leader. So we also think, okay, so I'm Buddhist and I think Lord Buddha is like some people, they believe that Lord Buddha has found this. But I know that, no, he has not found anything. He has just explained the existing things. Right? Similar to that, all other religious leaders, they have explained existing things according to their philosophy. How they think about that, they explain. So the people who trust that, they become followers. That's all. Right? It's a very simple scenario. The world is basically, so let's technically learn, so no offense thing, right? Every religion is like that, right? Every religion, every scientific concept, everything is like that. Those were existing. So similar to that, the data, there are a lot of data in the world. Okay, for an example, okay, so think that there is a solution or maybe atom, something in the world, but it is undiscovered. There is atom or solution or any something, some kind of thing in the world which is undiscovered, still not discovered. මොකක් හරි මූලද්‍රව්‍යයක් සංයෝගයක් අපි හිතමු තාම හොයාගෙන නැහැ. Is it useful?
Still not.
Still not. If it is not discovered, still not useful, right? So but after discovering, after somebody can tell, okay, this is a new thing that I found, but it is not new. It is undiscovered, still undiscovered. That is the reason. So the first person who discovered that will get the benefit. So that is the nature of information. right? Once it is discovered, found, expressed, it has the highest value, but with the time it will diminish. So that is the nature, right? So how this is actually created, the world or the universe, it has data, unorganized things, a lot of unorganized things in this universe. People will process means people will organize mathematically, logically, they will organize that. So after that, they will introduce information. That information has high value, but with the time it will diminish and again become data. Let's think about some model. Let's think about election. So when, can you remember the situation when the election results was released in 2 years back? Can you remember the situation?
Yes.
Right? People were celebrating, they were eating milk rice, right? So they were celebrating, cheerful, and they were putting fireworks. So they were celebrating because the value of information is high. Now what is the situation? Now you can see the situation, right? So it has going down and it is, the trend is now not there. Even the people who are talking about the trend is not there. They are also vanished. So that is the nature. Data will become information. Now actually 2020 election result is only a data. When the next election is there, okay, let's say 2024, there is another election. Then in that election table, the past election will only a data. So you can say, so I think you have seen these things in the TV, past election results, Sri Lanka. Sorry. Okay, so these are some results. Actually, in 2020, this was information. 2020, this was information. But so let's say year-wise comparison chart. Okay, do we have any year-wise comparison chart? If so, I think yes, it's not there in the internet, but it was displayed in the channels, right? It was displayed in the channel, but not in the internet. No, not in the internet. Here, you can see presidential election 2010, general election 2010, the presidential election, the general. Now these past elections will become data in these charts. That is what I want to show you. So this is a cyclic process. This is a cyclic process. Why it is a cyclic process? I have actually discussed a lot of things, right? You might think I have not discussed much, only 1 or 2 pages, but I discuss about data information, definition of information, accuracy and value of the information. I discuss about how information is created and the basic facts about information. And so basically abstract model of information, input, process, and output. I have discussed many, right? So I'm just shorting this down. Data, process, information. So that is called abstract model of information. What will happen after some time, gradually this information will become data. So this is called a cyclic process. Anything in the world is cyclic, right? Our life is a cycle. We call life cycle. So you know the carbon cycle, how the food produced and how it become carbon dioxide, and again how it is absorbed from the trees, and how this what you call photosynthesis, translation, how this happen and how the food is produced, how that is going through a food chain. So likewise, that is a carbon cycle. So not only that, there are a lot of cycles, right? In computing also, we have software development life cycle. In organizations, there are team building life cycles. So life cycle of a human, life cycle of a plant, life cycle of amoeba. So likewise, different cycles are there. So in the world, we have cycles because, you know, the nature of the world is it's rotating as a cycle. It's rotating in a cyclic path. So we are also rotating around the sun in a cyclic path. So our universe is it's a result of cyclic process. So everything that's in it are also cycles. So whatever so fashions you have seen, the old fashion will become new fashions after some time. So that is cyclic. Very old fashions will become, you can ask from your mom. So very old fashions will come back as new fashions. So that is a cyclic process. So everything has a cyclic process. So data is also having a cyclic process. That is how information is created. Right. Okay, then you need to know about what will happen to these data. Right, you need to know about what will happen to this data, and also you need to know about the basic term of system. So without displaying that, I would like to ask from you, what is a system? What is a system? Yes. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is a system?
System is process of some like information or something.
Okay, can you give me example for system?
Irrigation system.
Irrigation system. So what is, can you tell me a system that you are using now? Yes, a system that you are using now. Simple one, respiratory system. This was respiratory system, you are using it now. So now you can define what is a system. A system is basically not a single part. It is a set of components.
Some.
Yes, it has some components. So what about the relationship between these components? So let's say respiratory system, nose and throat, throat and lungs. What's the relationship? Nose is one part, throat is one part, then the lymph, yeah, those are like combined, right? Those are having interconnection. Whatever you take from the nose must go through the throat.
Yes.
If what happens if neck is cut down, then you are gone. The system is over.
Yes.
So that is the nature. That means whatever the components, so input from one component should go to the other component. Okay, input to the nose is air that should gradually transmitted or transferred or sent to the lungs. Right? That is the nature. So whatever the maybe exhale air with carbon dioxide should come through that is actually absorbed and that is released to lungs, and that should go through the throat and again released from the nose. The inputs and outputs should flow. To flow that inputs and outputs, you need a interconnection. So it is interrelated. Interrelated means, so whatever the things you take from one thing should be related to other things. You can't take food from nose and ask throat to swallow air. Not possible, right? So it is interrelated. So everything is related and it is connected and it is set of components, and those are working together, right?
Yes.
Those are working together. If throat reject air, then again you can't breathe. So those are working together to achieve a common goal. So that is system. The very simple definition. Interrelated, but you need all these things. Interrelated, connected components, set of components working together to achieve a common goal. Right? Example, digestive system, transportation system, these are examples. So you have a lot of components, Sanrachaka, lot of components in the system. Okay, another example, computer system. Another example, computer system. It also has a lot of components. Computer system is also having a lot of components. So what are the components of computer system?
CPU.
Yeah, CPU, input, output, lot of things. But easily you can categorize if you know how a information system behave. So we know the abstract model, right? Data will be processed and information is treated. That is the abstract model, no?
Yes.
According to that, information system should behave. In order to process data, we need to capture data, no? That is must. Without capturing, we can't do anything. First, we have to capture. Okay, after capturing, what you have to do? Okay, let's say you have captured some data. Now you have to keep. Keep means memorize, represent. Represent and memorize. Represent means you have to actually keep it in your own way. Okay, for an example, let's say you found some, okay, a jackfruit. Okay, you have taken a jackfruit. But can you eat jackfruit as it is?
No.
No, it's not possible. Then what you have to do? You have to keep and represent. Represent means you have to take the needed or most required component, remove the other components. That is basically memorize and represent it. You define or you keep it in your own way. Memorize, represent. To that we need processing. So even after memorize and keep in, you can't eat. You need to process, right? You need to cook it. So that cooking is the processing. Yes, then you have to store actually. While cooking also you have to store. You have to put it in some component. And after cooking also you have to keep it in some component. That is storage. And if you need to keep this for a long time, you can keep it in the refrigerator. Maybe if you want to eat that for breakfast, lunch and dinner all the time, you can keep that in the storage. Or if you want to store this for a long time, there are some other methods. You can make it dry. You take the jackfruit, get the required components, memorize, process it, you make it dry and store. Then you can keep it for a long time, right? And after that, you have to give that. So why you keep that? Keeping that is not enough. You have to give away. You have to output. And you need to communicate. Communicate means, okay, let's say I'm just talking and I have stopped my meeting. So if I'm talking, so there is no point. So I'm always asking, can you hear me? Why? I want to verify that whatever I output is going to you, right? So understand this clearly, understand these things very clearly, right? So it is related to us. When you relate it to us, it's very easy. Okay, think about what we are doing now. I'm capturing data. I'm memorizing, representing, that is this note. I'm processing, I have processed, that is this organized, bold, italic, underline, point format, or everything is there. And I'm storing, I have saved this file, then I can reuse it. I have saved this file, I can reuse. I'm outputting this, you can see the screen.
Yes.
That is my output. And I'm verifying, can you see? Can you hear me? That is communicating. That is actually your computer system, that is your information system. And computer system is a system related to information. Computer system is also interrelated set of components, works together to achieve the common goal of what? So it is also a system. Interrelated components, set of components work together to achieve the common goal of
System.
So what is this? It is data processing.
Process.
Right? Actually, it is happening electronically, no? So we call EDP, electronic data processing. Right? So it is interrelated set of components work together to achieve the common goal of electronic data processing. So that's it. Right. Now, since it is for data processing, since it is following the abstract model of information, it needs to capture, memorize, process, store, output, and communicate. Now you can tell the components needed to do that. To capture data, what you need?
Analyze.
No, to capture data in the computer, what you need? The component you need to capture data. Yes, how you take data in?
Input.
Input devices. Memorize and represent, you need Memorize and represent. You need memory, right? Main memory. Memorize and represent. You need a memory device. Process data. You need processing devices. Store data. Storage devices, or you can say secondary storage, because memorizing and storage is two things, right?
Okay.
Memorizing is temporary process, but storage is permanent process, right? So please understand carefully. If you understand this very carefully, it's very, very easy to me to explain the future lessons, right? So even the operating system lessons, that is how I organize my lessons. So my first few lessons will take some more time. But the thing is, after understanding these first few lessons, you can rapidly complete your syllabus. So that is how we are doing. Normally, I'm completing syllabus within 1 year, mostly within 8 months. Right? Mostly within 8 months. Why? Because my foundation is really strong. I need to put really strong foundation. Normally you can see the videos in YouTube, or you can just see the classes. If you have visited, if you go to classes, you can see for these parts they will not give enough time. They will do this very rapidly. Okay, information system, right? So what are the processes in the information system? Capture data, memorize, process, store. Okay, write down. Right? What is computer system? Computer system is this. Right down. So this is how it normally goes, right? But there are some teachers who can really go into the depth and explain. But most of the teachers are not doing that. I don't know why. Without having strong foundation, it is not possible to learn. Then what will happen? The latter part of the other lessons will be difficult. Right. Okay. You have for capturing input devices, memorize memory devices, processing devices, storage is permanent. I say storage devices, output data and information, you have output devices. And for communication, there are communication devices. That's it. Right. So anyway, so this is the hardware part. No, this is the hardware part. Hardware part means the physical component, the tangible physical components, the tangible components of the computer system. That is hardware, right? So, but it has some other parts also, not just the tangible things. Inside that, here you can see this is MS Word. So this is not hardware. This is a software. It is intangible instructions. And it's related data also, right? Not just instructions. You can go and ask, hey, I need help. When you go to Word help, the word help is actually, again, documentation. This is a documentation. That is also related to software. So in your childhood, you might learn it is just instructions. Instructions with right here. Instruction plus documentation, right? Software engineering you can easily grab this. So it is not just instructions and documentation. This is the documentation part. One of the documents, not just that. For development also, there are documentations. And not just that, the related data structure, how these things are saved. Is it in files? Is it in databases? How these things are saved. Data, how the related data is stored. That is data structures. Instructions means advisors, upadesh, instructions. Not just that, related data, how the data related to these instructions are saved. So these are also data. These menu items, these icons, all these are data. How those are saved, how those are stored. That is the data structures. Documentation. So when you go here, you can see small tooltip comes. It says find out code related to information. This is documentation, belongs to documentation. Insert a function. That is called tooltip. So that is part of documentation. So that is software. The computer system is not just hardware, not just the physical component, it is software. Software also help these processes. Software also help capturing, memorizing, processing, store, output, communication. Capturing is inputs. Using keyboard, you can enter letters, memorize and represent. There is also part how binaries, we are going to learn in the third chapter, binaries, logic gates, how things are represented and memorized. Process data, then we learn how mathematical and logical process happen. Store, files, databases, we are going to learn through the syllabus. Syllabus එක පුරාම අපි මේවා ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. How to store data, how to output, different formats of output, audio, video outputs, image outputs, text output, binary outputs, we are going to learn about communication. In the networking chapter, we are going to learn about that. So this is your syllabus, right? This is your syllabus. We are going to learn about how operating system helps this, that is software part, how the network helps this, hardware part and networking part, how the database helps this, the database part, how the represent and output happen, web designing, how this organizing processing happen, programming. That is your syllabus, right? Okay, liveware means people. We are the liveware components in this. Okay, then finally, I would like to introduce this part, how the interconnection of these physical components, how the interconnection of these physical components is there, that we are going to learn. Up to now, we have discussed about the first part, right? This part we have learned, right? So then, we didn't learn about the advanced part, right? Big data, their needs, analysis, still we didn't learn, right? We didn't learn about the advanced topics, but we learn about the basic topics. Ability to inform this decision making, these predictions, policy making, we didn't learn about that much, but so still this part need to be completed. So this part we learn how abstract model of information. So now we are going to learn about this part, the classification of hardware, and this block diagram or the von Neumann diagram. It was somewhere here. Let's see. Here, von Neumann architecture. It's coming in the second lesson, but still, so it's a part of first lesson, right? They didn't mention about that, but von Neumann coming in the second lesson. But here, before hardware, we need to learn about that architecture, right? According to that architecture, only hardware components are there. Therefore, actually, we have already discussed here data capturing and all. We discussed about that, but we didn't discuss about the individual components. Now you may think, so I have discussed here and there. No, it's not, right? I have discussed properly. Only thing is, we have not finished the first lesson, right? We have not finished the first lesson because we just learned the overview of this lesson. So next day, what I'm going to do after is I'm going to discuss this part also, but the next day or the next week or next day, whatever the day, we are going to discuss about the remaining missing topics. So that is the nature, right? Other make kata karata passe next day, individual missing topics I'm going to cover. Then, so the next day, the first lesson will be over, right? I need only 2 days. So then again, we'll go to the second lesson like that. Second lesson, I think we need 2 or 3 days, right? Because we need to learn some more about these components, von Neumann and all. So it will take 2, maximum 3 days. Then the next lesson, so 3 days means 3 hours. That's it. So the next lesson, we need to take some more. So maybe we need 3 days maximum or 3 hours maximum. That is the plan, right? So if you have doubts, you can ask now. So let's learn about how these parts are connected. I said to get capture data, you need inputs. So whatever you take using input devices, then you need a way of memorizing memory. You need a way of processing devices. You need a way of storage devices. You need a way of output, that is output devices. These are the components in the computer system. Right now we are going to learn technically. But here you cannot see the communication devices. What's the reason? Here you cannot see the communication devices, but other devices you can see. What is the reason? Why you cannot see communication devices? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So can you understand up to here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why communication devices are not there? For communication, Pute, at least we need two parties, right? So this meeting, at least I need you to conduct this meeting. Otherwise, we can't conduct the meeting. We need two parties. Two parties, in a sense, it is basically two computers or computing devices. Two computers or computing devices. So this is only about a single computer. If we connect two such computers, then the communication devices will come. Understood?
Yes.
These communication devices are there, but I can't show that because it is needed when communicating with another computer, right? It is also a type of output for the movement, but when you connect that to another computer, it will become communication. For the moment, it is just input and output. Just think, your router will take data as input, will send data as output for the moment. But if you connect the router to your computer, then it will become communication device. Right? I hope you understood.
Yes, sir.
You can't mention router here. Input devices, main memory, that is random access memory and read-only memory. Then the secondary storage we call back-end storage. Why? It is supporting us because the main memory is temporary. If I ask, what did you eat 3 days back? You can't remember. That is your memory. What did you eat on 2nd April? If I ask for lunch, can you exactly tell? No. It is your memory. Memory will fade out. Memory is volatile, temporary. We call volatile. So memory is there only until you give the power to the computer. Okay, if I close my laptop like this will be there in my memory. This document will be there in my memory if I close the laptop. But if I shut down the laptop, will it be there?
Yes.
If I shut down the laptop, will this document will it be there in my screen?
I know.
No, it will not be there in my screen, but it will be there in my hard disk, right?
Yes.
That's what I did. I said that I will search for the note and show you because it's not in the memory, but it is there in the hard disk. That is why the backend, storage, auxiliary memory, right? It is supporting because we can't keep everything in our current memory. No? If we want to save that, we need to keep it in our auxiliary storage, backend storage. In my hard disk, it is there. You can open it. Here, this path is opening actually. This path is saving. If I save the document, it goes memory to hard disk. If I open the document, it comes hard disk to memory. So this will be, we will further learn this in the operating system lesson. We will learn this in the operating system lesson. So if you display this, it will go from memory to output. Now it is in the RAM memory. If I display memory to output, if I type something, then keyboard, so it will go to the memory and also to the output. If I type letter H, keyboard to memory, memory to output. If I save this, then memory to secondary storage. Right? If I do a calculation, okay, if I do something like this, colon and bracket, space. Now what has happened? Colon is input, bracket is input. Colon is input, bracket is input. Went to the memory. But I can see a face. How?
Output.
Yes, it is output as well. But my input was this name. So input එක ඒ විදිහටම පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැනේ. Input colon and bracket. Input colon and bracket. It went to the memory. Then what has happened? It went to the processor as well and processed. Understood. So if I type colon here and then comma here and bracket here, It will not display a face, no, colon, comma, bracket. Why? It didn't understand. But if I give colon and bracket, it will try to understand here, colon and bracket. It will go to the processor. Processor will give some other feedback that will come back to the memory, and that will be the output. Understood?
Yes.
The processing also there. So every time the processor is looking after what you're typing, right? So that is the nature. Don't think that this is unprocessed. When I type the colon, it will actually go to the input. It will go to the main memory. Actually, secretly, it's going to the processor as well. But it does nothing because colon does nothing, just display it. But when I type bracket, input, memory, it will go to the processor. Processor will tell, hey, colon and bracket together. Now display a smile. The logical processing, ALU, arithmetic and logical unit, a logical processing. It comes. It says the memory. Memory does actually, it comes to the memory from the processor and then it will be displayed. That is why this came. Colon and this one. Right? Still the same. Input, memory, processor, back to the memory and output. A very simple thing. If I save this, going from memory to secondary storage. So this is what the von Neumann suggested. This person is von Neumann. He has suggested a typical computer should have these components. Input, a way of memorizing, a way of processing, way of output, a way of storing. And inside the CPU, you have CU, that is the traffic police. It will give control signals to every other component. This orange color arrow shows control signals. It will give control signals. It will show control signals. Actually, it will give control signals to every other, similar to traffic police, right? Traffic police in a junction will not drive the vehicle. Traffic police in a junction will not drive the vehicle. He will just signal. He will tell, okay, go right side, go left side. So he will just tell what to do. He will signal, but not drive. Right? Similar to that, the control unit will signal what to do. It will advise, but not do the operation. ALU will do the calculations and arithmetic processing. This is actually arithmetic. Sorry, this is actually logical. Right? But there are calculations also. It is done inside the process, ALU. Cache memory is the temporary storage or the memory inside CPU. Or the CPU inside CPU also we need a kind of memory that is cache memory. Random access memory and read-only memory are the main memories. Random access memory is a writable memory. Read-only memory is only for reading. So we learn about these components. So we have to explore these components in the next chapter also. But for the moment, you need to learn the basics. Right? I hope the lesson up to here is clear to you now. Actually, what you can do is I'll send you this note up to okay, this has actually okay, this has additional things today. This is not just related to A-level ICT. This is for general knowledge. Why I put these things, this word processing and shortcuts. This is for general knowledge, right? You won't ask these questions in the examination. Here to page number 14 onwards, you don't ask, you won't get questions, but better you can just read. Better you can just read just for knowledge, right? Just for knowledge. But here, this part will be asked in the examination questions up to page number 14. I'll send you the note. Just go through that. And I'll explain the remaining things next day. Right? So I have to explain this e-business things and all. So I'll explain the remaining things, and also I'll fill the holes, gaps. We keep some spaces. We need to fill that gaps. But now you have the basic idea. Now it's very easy to fill the gaps, right? So you have the basic idea. Let's fill the gaps next day and finish the lesson.
Okay, so is there anything to take down, like note or something, PDF?
So I'll send this one, right?
Okay, sir.
This
So
is
I have to
useful, I
write
think.
this in my book.
Sorry.
I have to take down this into my book.
Actually better if you can. Why? Because then you can. So writing is actually essential skills.
Yes.
Writing will actually let you keep these things
Up
in
to page
memory for
40, I have to
permanent.
write.
Yes, it's better to write. But it depends, right? Even without writing, you can keep the note. But if you want to remember these carefully, better if you
So
can.
I will write. Okay, I will write. So up to page 40.
14, yeah. Other things are for extra knowledge. Right? Other things I have given for extra knowledge. That is not related to A-level ICT directly. It's for
So
the extra
40
knowledge.
or 14.
Sorry. Yeah, 14.
Okay, sir.
I'll generate the PDF and send it to you. So I hope
Okay,
the
sir.
lesson is clear. So this I have done little rapidly product vegem mankara because like you need this as a quick revision, no? So that's the reason that otherwise I'll take some more time to do this. But I have done little faster. I hope that is not a problem, right?
Yes, sir. So can you send me the recording?
Yeah, sure. I'll send the recording.
And sir, so the previous recording, can you send me that too?
Previous recording still I didn't upload. I'll send that as well. I have sent this to the chat, right? I think you can download from the Zoom chat.
Sir.
Can you see?
No, sir.
All right, then I'll send it to the WhatsApp.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then have a nice day. Bye. I'll send
Okay,
the
sir.
recording.
Thank you, sir.